Hey guys, so I just wanted to chat about my EP that I uploaded on iTunes recently, and available on a whole bunch of web stores: iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, of course, Amazon Music, Google Play, you name it, it's there. So just search for Miles of White. So I've decided to name it self-titled for now. It's my first Miles of White album, and I just chose some tracks that I was working on for the year of 2015. I started out just playing around, and eventually I uploaded some tracks on SoundCloud, and I decided that I'm sick of uploading just one track on SoundCloud, and I decided to upload a whole bunch. Well, in the case of an album or a collective, some collective form of work. So basically, I just wanted to discuss like my concept around it, not necessarily like the music making process, but I just thought maybe you guys would find it interesting. Basically, I've got 5 tracks on the album, and if you haven't heard it, then I'll obviously put a link for you guys to check it out. It's on a whole bunch of music stores, like I said. Starting out with this track in the background, it's called Daydreaming. Is kind of my own true passion, and now that I think about it, the reason why I have the tracks in the background as well is just to think about my process, or my creative process behind these tracks. Not necessarily like what gear I used and stuff, but if you listen to this track, it's very, I don't know, ambient, and I like the idea of just creating something, not with, obviously in this case, Miles of White is kind of like my, I don't even know what it is, it's really just an electronic fusion of different styles, and I love the fact that it's got acoustic instruments in there too, drums and bass and stuff like that. But basically with this track, I just decided to take it and upload it and make sure that it sounds, I don't know, I just like the idea of something that's dreamy, and I really just I always enjoy ambient and dreamy music, and when I really started to create this, I thought, what is it in my life that I really am passionate about, as everyone goes on in life and tries to figure out. So, 27 years old now, and I should really be at a place where I'm like, well, apparently, at a place where I've reached what I needed to do in life. But basically, that's amazing. I mean, I think about it, daydreaming is really my only true passion, because it's something that I love doing, and I know it sounds weird, and I probably sound like a complete, I don't know, very cosmic and stuff, but it's very true. It's become something that I love doing. I think that it's important for everyone to daydream. It doesn't have to be every day, of course. I think I daydream too much, but yeah, I guess that's why the title is called that. And I liked using the Chaos pad in this album. I liked using a lot of electronic stuff. Obviously, my forte is guitar, and it has no guitar on the album, but I can definitely see if maybe one day if I play this stuff live, I'd love to be able to play my guitar with it. And I can definitely add some lines in there, or even simulate stuff that happens. But who knows? I'm not going to say too much right now. Here's the next track. It's called Hybrid Babies, and it's actually, the reason why it's called Hybrid Babies is because the synthesizer on it was a hybrid, and I thought, wow, this is so cool. It's like the spawn of this hybrid. So I thought, wow, that's great. I'll combine it all together, and what it really becomes is, it's kind of like 2 words in one, because it's the fact that it's the synthesizer, the soft synth of a hybrid, and then it's the spawn of 2 elements meeting. And it is a pretty straightforward electronic, I don't know what to call it, like housey, techno track. Yeah, I like the idea of, I was enjoying like a lot of I still enjoy a lot of like German techno and stuff like that, and I'm not saying that this is that, but I get a lot of influences from that. Even playing my guitar, and it's great to just be able to be confident and I don't know, with your music, I suppose. But yeah, I'm rambling, but basically with this track it was really just a straight down the line, and it sounded great, it felt great, so I thought, you know what, let me put this together with other, let me put this on the album, and yeah, I enjoy the ambience of it again. I love ambient music, like I've said before, and stuff. And then, just to move on a little bit, over here, I've got this awesome track called New Beginnings and New Limitations, and that's my buddy Scott on drums in the beginning, sounding great. And I really had to produce this track. It became like a mesh of acoustic and electric instruments, and I loved that because it takes kind of like, I don't know, it's just how you would construct a meal or something. And I like the idea of taking acoustic drums and trying to fuse them into this electronic song. And if you listen to this track, actually when I first started to compose this track, it was all electronic instruments, it was all my own composition. I played everything, I tried to, you know, just put in the bass, put in the drums, and I just thought, you know what, this would be so great if I could put live musicians on this track, and it really worked out with Rob playing bass. That was sick. Like, just came out the one day and they laid down some tracks. It really complimented the track like you can't believe. I think there would be a completely different track if these guys didn't play on it, and I really appreciate them for playing on it. And yeah, I think another thing about this track is that I think at a time this was it was in winter. It was in South Africa time, winter, June, July and stuff, and it was super cold. Well, it wasn't cold, but it was kind of cold, and I was just like in my little makeshift studio and just thinking, wow, you know, this track sounds so, I don't know, it sounds crazy, but to me it really inspired me. Like I thought, wow, it's bored with Canada, like almost like I wanted that ambience of even like Sugar Row, or just yeah, you know, like the fact that you're able to play, it just complements winter. I don't know why, I always have that thing of like, maybe you could see this as a summer song, but I was like, this is winter, you know, it's like that cold, but like you have to dress in like a warm clothes, and then you appreciate the cold, you know, kind of thing. It's so strange. I know it's pretty strange, and it's not to bore you guys too much longer, but the next track, I mean, yeah, this is great. Please check this stuff out. It's really obviously put some time and effort into it. And then this next track here, it's called Controls Chaos. Obviously, like an ode to the Chaos Pad, or the older KP3. I like the fact that I was able to manipulate that thing and sing into it, and use different loops and stuff, drum loops. I like the idea of not having to use just a program to have samples and soft synths. I like the idea of actually just using like one synthesizer and plugging it into software and just being like, okay, I'm going to use that. And it didn't really happen, but I really tried to do that so that it's the characteristics of that synthesizer. Like, it's almost like if you had this synthesizer, you would be able to play this album. And yeah, like, I mean, if I listen to like some of the arpeggiated stuff in this, it was definitely my synthesizer that I used. I love the vocal little thingies going on. I know it sounds very Radioheady to me, but I just thought, I'm just experimenting and I'm exploring as a musician. So I'm not necessarily, you know, being like, cool, I have to stick in this genre. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to experiment and see what happens. So it's frustrating and it's the life of a tormented musician, but hey, that's my life. So yeah, and it's got Graham on it, my buddy Graham on drums, and he really complimented the track a lot. He put a lot of effort into it, and he's a fantastic drummer. And then of course now it adds a whole bunch of different elements and builds as Graham comes in. I really wanted like a fusion thing happening here. I didn't even see this, like when I was creating these tracks, I was creating it so that it would be like almost looking at it as a fusion thing. Like if you look at the guys like Return to Forever, Chick Corea, there's so many fusion guys that I can name. But I mean, I wasn't thinking like, yeah, it needs to be electronic, like, you know, I was just like, yeah, cool, electronic and all these instruments are cool because you can manipulate in light and dark shade, you know, like a painter or something, you know. So if you listen to this part as well, same thing, adding a bit of stuff, once again, that acoustic feel and that shaker, you know, that shaker was rad, you know. That was actually Graham's touch. Thanks, Graham. Yeah, and what else? I mean, the one last track, just to not keep you guys for too long, this track, an ending, I actually created in like maybe 30 minutes max, and it's one of those tracks where you just go, you know, it's done, it's finished, and I'm done. I'm not going to do anything more. I think it's awesome. I'm done. I'm not saying like, wow, amazing. I'm just saying that was awesome. It fit the album, in my opinion. And it's a very different track to the rest of the stuff, but I thought, you know, this is a great track to end something with. And I like the idea of arpeggiating stuff. Kind of like it's almost like how you would just take a painting and morph it and just rip things out, and you know what I mean. And it's a broken piece, you know, and it makes me think of imperfection, even in this perfection of electronic music these days. It's great because I like the idea of the chaos pad as well, because it makes you think, like, all of a sudden things like, what? Why did that happen? So it was sounding so beautiful, and then all of a sudden some weird thing happens. So that was awesome. I enjoyed that, and I loved the way that the reverb just like, and the delay just took away, like just made it its own thing. It's almost like basically this was an improvisation, so it's not something that you can just repeat again and it's going to happen. This is in the moment, you know, like if you have to listen to this, for me personally, I think, wow, that's great, it's an improvisation. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and please check out the album. It's on iTunes, it's on a whole bunch of Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, everywhere. It's only like $30 in rands, South African rands. In dollars it's like $4 or something. So it's really cheap, and you can stream it as well, of course. But if you can, please support. I obviously put money and effort into it, and obviously thanks for Jonathan and Eva for helping me with the production. I really appreciate it, man. And then yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. Cheers.